Welcome back, players and collectors, to my channel, because today we're going to be talking about a TCG that I think kind of got forgotten about just a little bit in 2023, but is coming back with a huge roar in 2024. And I'm talking none other than Elestrals TCG. Now, Elestrals had their Kickstarter campaign at the end of 2022, where they amassed, it was a large $1.4 million on Kickstarter with 7,500 backers. And that at the time had shattered the record that Nostalgics had previously set with their $1 million and I think like 3,000 backer pledge on Kickstarter. So this Kickstarter had a huge following and huge momentum going into 2023. And, you know, I won't even say that it dropped or flopped or anything like that. Elestrals has been going strong, but it was kind of forgotten about by a lot of people, a lot of creators, a lot of TCG enthusiasts who were into indie TCGs and Kickstarter TCGs kind of just like went past it, moved on to the next thing really quick. You had Sorcery and Grand Archive and all these other newer TCGs coming out. And Elestrals they put their head down, they went to work. There were some issues, after the Kickstarter had launched and, shipped out to people, but, they addressed issues. They fixed them. They did everything they could. They just kind of put their head down and made sure they put in the work and chugged along until they got to this point now in 2024, where I think Elestrals is most likely going to be the biggest TCG to improve and grow in 2024. Now, here's the big thing for me. I follow Elestrals on pretty much every social media platform. I even opened up a booster box of Elestrals, their Kickstarter edition, which very, very beautiful packaging, by the way. It's a solid product, but there was I didn't hear anything about it. Once I had gotten my box and I had opened it and had some fun, it was like outside of the Discord. I didn't see anybody talking about it. I never heard anybody, going on about it. And again, that's not to say that Elestrals was not doing well or they weren't exceeding. In fact, the Kickstarter, like I said, had 7,500 backers. And if you look at their Discord today, they have over 11,000, almost 12,000 people in their Discord. So the size of their community has almost doubled in that time frame, which speaks volumes. I mean, we're talking like massive volumes to how the game is and how the team has been conducting themselves and the transparency with the game. And it's been phenomenal. And, I wasn't a big fan of Elestrals at the very beginning. I will say that I put that on my channel before. I didn't like it initially. But the more I dove into it, the more I looked into it, and the more that adrive and his team actually put stuff out there and showed us what was coming and how the game is and all that, I actually really started to like the game. And I think that's the big key right there, is just getting it out in front of people, letting them learn and see, what it's all about, and people are going to fall in love with the game. But Elestrals, I think they are primed for a huge 2024. Again, the Kickstarter went well. Things got quiet. They went behind the scenes to really fix a lot of issues that were coming up. But man, they've actually far exceeded my expectations. And there was one thing that they've recently done that really just put the cherry on top for me and made me really want to go into this game hard. And that's their content creation program. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not like a sponsored content creator for Elestrals or anything. But I've never been sent anything from them, and I don't expect that. I love the TCG, and I'm just going to play the game and collect as I go. But I will say, recently there has been a massive push by the Elestrals team to get content out there from multiple creators. And we're talking some bigger creators, we're talking medium-sized creators, and smaller creators. And that alone was super refreshing to see. And they're attacking people they're going after people from multiple TCGs. So there was people from the Yu-Gi-Oh community, the Pokemon community, Magic the Gathering community. They even picked up some MetaZoo creators that, didn't really have a place to go. They said, "Here, come on in. We'll get you some stuff to get excited about." And there's just been a massive push. I've been seeing all of a sudden Elestrals everywhere. So from 2023 until now, I'd seen nothing from Elestrals except for what adrive puts on the Elestrals YouTube page and their social media. But now I'm seeing it from a ton of people, and that is huge. That makes the world of a difference in a marketing campaign and scheme, and it is succeeding massively. Elestrals has launched the start of their Shattered Stars, which is a subscription-based mini set, essentially. So if you think, you guys know I'm a big nostalgics guy, it's kind of like the Secret Shards and also Secret Layers from Magic the Gathering put together, where you're going to get a couple, I think it's 3 packs of Shattered Stars packs, but they're going to contain like foil cards that are alternate arts, or a chance for the shiny versions, which are Stellars and things like that. Just very collectible cards, and they're really cool. And for $15, 3 packs, I mean, that's on par with everything. You think a premium membership with some premium packs and premium cards, it's going to be outrageous, $25, $30 for 3 packs with, just a handful of cards. But it's only $15, which was huge. And I think that was a genius marketing scheme right there, to make it affordable enough to where you want people who are even just thinking about it are like, hey, $15, that's not bad. I'll dive in and see what it's all about. And, most of the time when people get their product, they're just like, I like this, I'm going to keep it. And then, they succeed from there. So they've already gotten 3 sets of their Shattered Stars to come out, with I think the 4th one coming out this month sometime. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's coming out this month. Their 4th one, because they're doing them monthly, incrementally. But they've successfully launched that, and now they've just announced that they have their 2nd set, Frostfall, getting ready to drop. Pre-orders are already up for everybody. And the thing that I think most TCG collectors, investors, players, or anybody that fits all 3 categories, what they want to see when it comes to new TCGs is how do they do after their initial Kickstarter. And Elestrals is succeeding. They are very much succeeding. And I'm saying that because they have not looked back on Kickstarter at all. That just it kick-started their endeavors, their business, and they have not looked back since. They're doing everything in-house now. All their pre-orders are going through them as opposed to going back to Kickstarter. And they've got all kinds of products available too, which has been wildly successful. We're talking, all the essentials, as in playmats, deck boxes, sleeves, you name it, they got it. And then they also have little cosmetic things. Well, they have binders too, by the way, which are really cool. I am looking at picking one up. But they've got like plushies and little things. I think they got pins and something else out there. But they're just expanding, and they're growing at such a steady rate that it is very refreshing and exciting to see. But one thing that I think that kind of showcases their success nobody's really talking about is adrive is the creator and CEO and everything of Elestrals. Like, he controls it, he created it, he owns it. And the thing that I think really separates him from, and the Elestrals team, from everybody else is that they started off with large capital. So Elestrals went through their Kickstarter, and they're doing it, all that way now. And being in-house, they're doing it the right way. But they have, from the start, they've had money to expend on getting it going the right way and giving people what they want. And by that, I mean, we're talking some really cool animations to go along with everything, all the cards and everything they're putting together. But another huge thing that a lot of people don't necessarily think of is mobile gameplay, online clients. And Elestrals has it. Although it's in beta, it is still doable. It works actually pretty well. And it is a way to get people to play the game without having to buy physical cards. That is huge. Honestly, I think that might be the biggest piece to their success already so far. And they started it early on. They kind of announced it with the Kickstarter and started building it right away so that they could have it. And it's just helped the game grow massively. And again, they've almost doubled their community since the time of Kickstarter to now. I mean, that just speaks volumes for itself. But Elestrals is just, I think, the 2024 pick already for TCGs. I love, and you guys know, I love a lot of other indie TCGs, and I think they're all going to be wildly successful too. But I think Elestrals, after just reviewing everything, doing a little bit of research, kind of watching what they're doing, over the last little while, and seeing how it's all going now, I truly think Elestrals is the biggest TCG for 2024 that is primed to take off. And, honestly, if you like Pokemon, if you like Magic the Gathering, if you like Yu-Gi-Oh!, this is all a really good mix of those games while still being individual enough to separate itself from them. And they're really cool. And on top of that, they're going off of Greek mythology, and you guys know I just absolutely love mythology and history. That's why Mythic TCG is like my favorite TCG right now. It's probably going to be my favorite TCG for a long time, but Elestrals is definitely making a really big push on me right now to pull me over, and I think they're succeeding, where I am going to be getting more of their boxes, more of their product. I would really love to get some starter decks as well, because I am learning to play the game, but I think it's really worth getting into. You guys need to at least check it out. I mean, look, the product is just, it looks so good too. They held nothing back with that. But the cards are great. The gameplay, from what I've been seeing and watching, is actually really cool. Might be a little bit, I don't even want to say it's complicated. It's just it's a little bit to take in. You have to really sit down and kind of like think about it, let it sink in a little bit before you can start playing. But once you get going, it's one of those games that like it just starts to feel natural, It's not one of those games that's meant to be easy to play and just jump into. It's meant to be a good competitive game in the long term. And again, not to say that it won't be good for beginners as well, because it is. It just takes a little bit longer to get into, but that's fine. But collecting is huge with them. I hate to say the investing route, but I think if you're going to invest in a TCG, especially after seeing everything that happened with MetaZoo, Elestrals is honestly the TCG to go to. And I think even from the start, just kind of seeing what they've been doing, even if MetaZoo was still around right now, I think Elestrals would eventually overtake them as the top Kickstarter TCG, and it would only be a matter of time. They're just doing everything the right way, it seems. They're building their community in a really good way. They're making strong marketing pushes, and it's just really refreshing to see, honestly, from a TCG that's just trying to do everything the right way, and they have the means to do it as well, which is one of the things that a lot of other smaller TCGs might not necessarily have, is the means to do everything they want to do. And that's not a knock to them. It's just Elestrals started so much further ahead than the rest. And that's an advantage to them, The one thing I will say that I want to see from Elestrals this year, for it to seriously be considered a really good TCG and possibly, in the running to catch up to the big three at some point in its future. I'm not saying anytime soon, but in the future, I want to see it get into local game stores. And that is the thing with every Kickstarter or brand new TCG. That is the hardest thing to do, is get into LGSs across the country, in terms of the United States, but then eventually expand overseas. And we've seen a bunch of TCGs do it many different ways, and it's very difficult to do. But I think Elestrals, again, has the means to do it. I think they have the capital. I think they've got the marketing team. I think they've got the push they really need to start getting into these game stores. And once they do, I think you're going to start to see Elestrals everywhere. I think it's going to start to really take off. It's going to boom. And I would even say probably within the next year or so, if things go well, you probably will start to see them in Targets and Walmarts and Meijer and all these other places. Don't quote me on that. I have no inside information whatsoever, but that's my personal prediction, because that's the way I see the game going. I see it growing big enough to do something like that. But that's just my thoughts and opinions. I want to know what you guys think, though, down below, so make sure you comment. If you've done anything with Elestrals, if you've heard of it, you've collected it, whatever. Or if you haven't, if you're excited to get into it and learn about the game and about, you know, buy into it, play the game, collect it, whatever the case is, let me know in the comments down below. But thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another video. I'll be definitely doing more Elestral stuff very, very soon. I'm going to get some product in, and we'll do some openings and gameplay and all that fun stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, but we'll see you guys in the next one.